The Travis Walton abduction, 5 days missing in Arizona. 6 witnesses saw the beam strike him. 5 days later, he returned with no memory of how he got there. This is the Walton abduction. Late afternoon light filters through the ponderosa pines of the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest on November 5, 1975. 7 men worked their way through the timber, a contracted forestry crew finishing another day of tree thinning in the rugged terrain near Snowflake, Arizona. The truck bounces along the Forest Service Road as crew boss Mike Rogers drives his team back toward town. In the bed and cab, 6 tired workers look forward to getting home. Ken Peterson, John Goulet, Steve Pierce, Dwayne Smith, Alan Darley's, and Travis Walton. The sun sits low on the horizon when something appears through the trees ahead. Rogers slows the truck. What emerges into view stops conversation immediately. Hovering approximately 20 feet above a clearing, silent and motionless, hangs a disc-shaped craft emitting a yellowish glow. The object measures roughly 15 to 20 feet in diameter. No sound emanates from it. No visible means of propulsion can be identified. It simply hangs in the air, luminous against the darkening forest. Travis Walton moves before anyone can stop him. He exits the truck and walks rapidly toward the clearing, drawn by curiosity or disbelief or something the others cannot name. His crewmates shout warnings. Rogers yells for him to come back. Walton continues forward, entering the clearing beneath the hovering object. He stands there, looking up. The beam strikes him without warning. A brilliant column of light shoots downward from the craft, engulfing Walton's body. The impact throws him backward through the air. His arms spread wide. His body lifts and flies several feet before crashing to the ground. The men in the truck erupt in panic. Rogers guns the engine. The vehicle lurches forward, then speeds away from the clearing, bouncing violently over the rough forest road. Terror overrides everything. The 6 men flee. A quarter-mile down the road, reason begins to penetrate panic. They have left a man behind. Rogers brings the truck to a stop. Argument breaks out immediately. Some want to keep driving. Others insist they must return. The obligation to a fellow crew member wins out over fear. Rogers turns the vehicle around and drives slowly back toward the clearing. The craft has vanished. The clearing stands empty in the gathering darkness. Travis Walton is gone. The men search the immediate area, calling his name. Nothing, no response, no body, no sign of their missing crewmate. The forest offers only silence. Rogers drives directly to Snowflake and reports the incident to Deputy Sheriff Chuck Ellison of the Navajo County Sheriff's Office. The initial reaction from law enforcement follows a predictable pattern. 7 men arrive claiming their co-worker was struck by a beam of light from a flying saucer and disappeared. The immediate assumption centers on foul play. The 6 remaining crew members have just become murder suspects. A massive search operation launches immediately. Law enforcement personnel, volunteers, search and rescue teams, and tracking dogs comb the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. The search continues for days. Helicopters scan from above. Ground teams work grid patterns through the difficult terrain. No trace of Travis Walton emerges. No body, no clothing, no evidence of any kind. The crew members face intense interrogation. Their story never wavers. All 6 describe the same sequence of events: the hovering craft, Walton's approach, the beam of light, his body thrown backward, their panicked flight, and his absence when they returned. The consistency of their accounts under separate questioning strikes investigators, but consistency alone proves nothing. Cy Gilson, a polygraph examiner with the Arizona Department of Public Safety, administers lie detector tests to all 6 men within days of the disappearance. The results prove remarkable. 5 of the 6 pass their examinations completely. The 6th result comes back inconclusive rather than deceptive. No clear indication of deception emerges from any of the tests. If this represents a conspiracy or a cover-up for violence against their co-worker, the polygraph equipment cannot detect it. The Aerial Phenomena Research Organization, known as APRO, sends investigators to document the case. The organization, dedicated to studying unidentified aerial phenomena, recognizes the exceptional nature of a multi-witness abduction event. Most abduction accounts involve solitary witnesses with no corroboration. The Walton case presents 6 independent witnesses to the initial event. 5 days pass. The search continues, but hope fades. If Travis Walton met his end in that forest, whether through violence or misadventure, the terrain has swallowed all evidence. His family grieves. His co-workers live under the shadow of suspicion. The community of Snowflake struggles to make sense of an inexplicable disappearance. November 10, 1975. A phone rings at the home of Walton's sister in Taylor, Arizona. The voice on the line sounds weak and confused, but unmistakable. Travis Walton has returned. He provides a location. A phone booth outside a service station in Heber, Arizona, 12 miles from the site of his disappearance. Family members race to retrieve him. The man they find barely resembles the healthy forestry worker who vanished 5 days earlier. Walton appears severely dehydrated. His weight has dropped noticeably. He seems disoriented and distressed. Witnesses at the service station later confirm his obvious state of confusion when he stumbled to the phone booth. A needle mark is visible on the inside of his elbow, consistent with an injection site. His physical condition suggests genuine medical distress rather than someone who has been camping in the woods for 5 days. Initially, Walton's conscious memory of the 5-day period remains fragmentary and incomplete. He recalls waking on a hard, metallic surface. 3 beings stood around him, approximately 5 feet tall, with disproportionately large heads and eyes. Their skin appeared grayish. Walton's panic response proved immediate and overwhelming. He found himself in an unfamiliar room, located what appeared to be a reclining chair, and was subsequently approached by different beings, these appearing more human in their features and proportions. They led him through areas of what he assumed was a craft. Then nothing. His next memory involves lying on the roadside near Heber, watching a glowing disk rise into the night sky before disappearing. Dr. James Harder from the University of California conducts hypnotic regression sessions with Walton, attempting to access memories that remain blocked from conscious recall. Under hypnosis, additional details emerge, though Walton and investigators acknowledge the controversial nature of hypnotic testimony. The core account remains consistent: awakening among non-human entities, experiencing terror, being moved through an unfamiliar environment, then finding himself returned to a roadside with no clear memory of the intervening time. The National Enquirer, running a competition for the best documented UFO case of the year, awards its $5,000 prize to the Walton case in 1976. The financial incentive immediately draws accusations that the entire event was fabricated for profit. Skeptics, led by prominent UFO debunker Philip Klass, argue the case represents an elaborate hoax. Klass dedicates significant effort to dismantling the Walton account, searching for inconsistencies in testimony, questioning the validity of the polygraph examinations, and proposing alternative explanations for the disappearance. The skeptical arguments face a persistent obstacle: the polygraph record. The initial tests conducted on all 6 crew members in the immediate aftermath of the disappearance showed no clear deception. Critics argue polygraph evidence lacks reliability, that skilled liars can defeat the tests, that true believers might pass while describing events they sincerely but incorrectly remember. These arguments possess theoretical validity, but struggle against the practical reality that 6 men, separately tested within days of a traumatic event, all produced results consistent with truthful testimony about witnessing something extraordinary. Walton publishes his account in 1978 under the title The Walton Experience. The book details the events of November 5, the 5 missing days, and the aftermath of his return. A later edition carries the title Fire in the Sky. In 1993, Paramount Pictures releases a film adaptation using the same title. The movie takes significant dramatic liberties with the actual events, adding horror elements and altering details of Walton's described experience. The film version bears limited resemblance to the documented account, a common frustration when Hollywood adapts real paranormal cases. Decades pass. The Walton case enters the permanent canon of UFO literature, cited in virtually every serious examination of the abduction phenomenon. What distinguishes this case from thousands of other reported abductions remains clear. Multiple witnesses to the initial event, immediate law enforcement involvement, extensive documentation, and an extraordinary polygraph record. In 1993, Walton submits to additional polygraph testing. The examination, conducted by an independent examiner, again produces results consistent with truthful testimony. In 2016, more than 4 decades after the original event, Walton undergoes yet another polygraph examination. Again, the results indicate no deception. The 6 crew members, interviewed repeatedly over the decades, maintain their account of the November 5 sighting without significant deviation. Steve Pierce, one of the crew members, experiences periods of doubt and reconsideration over the years, but ultimately returns to his original testimony. He saw the craft, he saw the beam strike Walton, and he saw Walton disappear. The physical evidence from the site itself proves non-existent. By the time investigators reached the clearing in the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, any trace evidence that might have existed had been compromised or was never present. No burn marks, no disturbed soil patterns, no radiation readings or electromagnetic anomalies were documented. The forest revealed nothing. The case's strength rests entirely on testimony and the polygraph records supporting that testimony. 6 men saw something. 1 man disappeared for 5 days. That man returned in documented physical distress from a location he could not explain reaching. All parties submitted to lie detection testing across nearly 5 decades. No evidence of conspiracy or deception emerged from those tests. Researchers attempting to construct alternative explanations face significant obstacles. The hoax theory requires 6 men to maintain a coordinated deception for decades, repeatedly passing polygraph examinations, enduring intense scrutiny and skepticism, and gaining relatively little material benefit from their account. The misidentification theory struggles to explain what natural phenomenon could create a hovering luminous disk and cause a man to disappear for 5 days. The psychological explanation confronts the problem of shared delusion among 6 witnesses who separately described identical events under immediate police questioning. The Travis Walton abduction remains the most thoroughly polygraphed case in abduction research. Its documentation quality, multiple witnesses, and sustained consistency across decades make it the reference point against which other abduction accounts are measured. Skeptics acknowledge the case presents difficulties for blanket dismissal of all abduction claims. Believers point to the Walton case as evidence that at least some abduction accounts describe real events beyond current scientific understanding. The men who lived through that November evening in 1975 carry the experience for life. Travis Walton continues to speak publicly about the case, participating in conferences and interviews. Some of his former crew members prefer privacy. All remain consistent in their core testimony. They saw something in the forest that day. What happened to Travis Walton during those 5 missing days remains known only to him and whatever entities took him from that clearing. If you found this case compelling, subscribe to Vanishing Roads for more documented paranormal investigations from around the world. This story was created with AI assistance based on documented case files. All events reference real investigations and reported incidents.